I want to go in the Mansfield Reformatory where Shawshank Redemption was filmed and stay overnight because it's allegedly haunted. I want to skydive in 3 states in 24 hours. I want to I haven't told people this yet. This will be a Joseph Vore Podcast exclusive.
Love it. Here at the Joe Vore Podcast, we are honored to be presented by Step One Underwear. Let me just say this. You do not become the world's most prolific Uber driver and podcast host without being cool and comfortable. So what are you waiting for? Click the link in the description below, grab yourself a pair, and discover a whole new life of comfort and style. Enjoy the show.
Yeah, man, it feels good just to do stuff for yourself, put yourself out there. And it really just takes I'm still a little anxious about it. I'm still a while away from, kind of getting off the ground and going, but really, once you get out there and, you do it for the first time, whatever it is that you're trying to do. And then once you start, it's just like a game, right? You're nervous. Once you get out there, you take that first hit, the ball's tipped, the first pitch, whatever you're doing, puck drop, whatever sport it is, then you feel good. Then you're okay. And you kind of just got to get out there and get through that first one. Know that you can do it. You know what it feels like. You know what it looks like. You know what it smells like. Everything.
Yep.
And once you do that, then you can really, really cruise. It's not easy, but just from that, but once you get over that mental hurdle, it's definitely a big step, and everyone's got to do it.
It is a big step. And I think that, like you said, the biggest thing is getting the ball rolling. And it's not going to be easy, like you said, with anything, but I think with something that you enjoy doing or something you want to attain, I think if you fall in love with the process, it makes life so much better.
Yes.
I've always been at the point where I'm like, I want this thing, but then I don't enjoy, or I'm like, I don't have it yet. I still don't have it yet. This person has it. I don't have it yet. Instead of just like, oh, today I'm closer to it, or this was really good today, or I had a lot of fun doing this. Like I'm not this, big content creator who's able to be full-time on my own quite yet.
Yeah.
But you know what? I had so much fun making this video today, or I had so much fun doing this after work. And then eventually I fell in love with that process. And I think it ultimately led me to being a content creator full-time. Just because I don't know, man. Like I truly believe in manifestation. Like I always knew I was going to do something full-time in content. It's so funny, man, because I truly believe like right now, I'm doing, better than I've ever done, but I just, for whatever reason, think it's tip of the iceberg. And I've always believed I would go full time. And when there was nothing, like I wanted to do content entertainment, and now that I am, and I believe when there was nothing, and I've seen some stuff, it's nothing crazy, but I've seen some stuff come to my life. I'm so thankful for. Now I for whatever reason, dude, I just know like bigger and bigger things are going to keep happening, are going to happen that I like beyond my wildest expectations. I can feel it, man. I don't know why. And I think it's a really fun thing to experience.
I love it. Well, I mean, but that's what all the people that have made it, like I listen to a ton of podcasts, especially comedians. I don't know if anyone has a tougher comeuppance than comedians. Sometimes when you listen to Rogan have on some of his old guys that he started with in Boston that have now made it, like him and Greg Fitzsimmons. But even as they talk about how shitty it was at all the shit gigs and crazy stories, those are the things they always reminisce on. Those are the stories that I enjoy hearing. Those are the stories everyone enjoys hearing. You can just hear the joy and the laughter and just the way that their voice, like they can't help but get excited when they're like, oh yes, I do remember that place on the corner. I lived above it. My apartment was so crappy, this and that. And they talk about it, the best stories that they're going to tell, because those are relatable stories. They aren't the ones where Rogan's talking about, oh, I bought this and did that. And, when I was staying at this amazing hotel, I ran into this person. Sure, those stories get dropped in there, but the best ones where they really light up are when they're talking about, oh yeah, I remember where, you had to catch a ride. I didn't know if my car was going to make it, just to go make, $50 one night to do this, 5-minute whatever. And I have to drive back at the end of the night. And just like, I don't know, that's what, the process really is the thing. And that's what people look back on and I think enjoy the most. I don't think anyone would trade, their lives for it, as long as they were happy, how it ended up. But they're like, but you just think about it, you're like, oh man, how cool would it be to go back and live that life again for a week? I bet all those people would say yes in a heartbeat.
Yeah, no, it's funny. I have a story that kind of resembles that one. Like this, I don't know if you ever followed the Steve Harvey thing, but he's a Cleveland guy, and
right.
His stories are absolutely amazing. I recommend, if anybody hasn't listened to that, go look up how Steve Harvey came up. It's very inspirational. But we had a family friend. I was down in North Carolina for quarantine during 2020 for 10 weeks. And we went to a lake in North Carolina, family friend, most beautiful house I've ever been inside. Like,
with all the hot tub with the TikTok money.
Yeah, that's where it was. That's right. Yeah. I can't believe you remember that. That's so funny.
I got it, man.
People are super, I think we talked about, people are super mad. Like, oh, like, why would you flex that? I'm like, because it's not mine.
Because it's
this
a
person
joke.
has millions of dollars, you fucking idiot.
It's
Anyways,
a joke.
It's literally a joke. I have no money right now. I'm broke. I maxed out my credit card at that time. Anyways, I digress. The most beautiful house, like just the hot tub, the lake, there's a pond in the yard, just a huge backyard, massive place. The mom, is very high up in the medical field. She was a surgeon, then, ran a hospital network in North Carolina, just very, very successful. The husband and them got a nasty divorce. 2 kids, they moved off to college, got married. They don't live there anymore. She has this big house, and we were like, man, like, this is the coolest thing ever. And she's like, you know what? I'd trade all this in a heartbeat for, being on the floor in my apartment, eating pizza with my best friends, being broke, not having any clue how to navigate life, and absolutely loving every minute of it. And like, when I heard that, dude, I was like, oh my God. Cause that was like me at that moment. And still, like, right now, not that I have anything necessarily figured out, but I was like, oh my God, this person has everything you could ever want financially, but nobody to share with. And there's just something beautiful about that process, man. Like being young and chasing something that you want. And I think people chase the wrong things. Like, I want all these great things in content and in life, sure, and financial security, absolutely, and to set up my family for life. But there's just something beautiful about not knowing or just the moment right now, because I could have $1 million tomorrow and that'd be awesome. It might make me happier for a little bit. Yeah, I want, like, as Daniel Tosh said, like, you ever see a sad person on a jet ski? I don't think so.
Right.
But there's all these things that people think that money and fame and all this stuff are going to give them, and it just doesn't. And or a big house, like, it's a big house, but it sure is lonely when you're the only person there. You got a lot of stuff and it's just you. So hearing that, man, and them being on the apartment floor, broke with the best friends, eating pizza on the floor. Yeah, man, that was the craziest thing I've ever heard. I think about that story every day. I will never forget that story. Most successful person, one of the most successful women people on the planet I've ever met, and most beautiful house, and would trade that in the world for everything, just for eating pizza on the floor with best friends.
Perspective, crazy. Man. People always think back to it. Bill, I don't know exactly what it is, but Bill Burr has a quote too, where he talked about, like, man, basically the premise was being 32 and living on your buddy's futon, going after your dream, is way better than being 32, having material things, but you hate your life and you hate what you're doing and have regret. No. And I agree with that. And some people, and everyone's different. Again, we keep going back, like the Deshaun Watson thing, like, hey, everyone's got their different perspectives and thoughts on it or whatever. And that's great. And some people, are like, I'm going to fall in love with the process and it's going to take a while and I'm going to have to go through some shit. And other people want more security right away. And that's great too, because those are options out in the world. And I think that's great. And because I saw something on Twitter not too long ago and it went pretty viral. It's just like, oh, like, the girl, that one girl on Facebook, who's like grown up, that the one girl you went to high school with, and, will like post on Facebook. It's just like, OMG, like moving into my dream house. And it's just kind of like a typical, like, suburban, like little, just like, like a, 3-bedroom,
Yeah,
4-bedroom,
I've seen it.
2.5 bathrooms place. The tweet I'm talking about, but then
Yeah,
everyone's
yeah.
kind of roasting. But then I think too, like, not getting too serious. It's Twitter, like, calm the fuck down. But I'm
Right.
like, but for some people, that is their dream. And if they're like, I grew up here and I always wanted to live here and just have a little house and a family. And that might not be your dreams because you want way, bigger things. But for them, if that's their dream, that's awesome.
And that's the thing too. You don't know like what that girl's situation was growing up. Maybe they had nothing. Maybe LeBron moved from apartment to apartment to apartment, 14 or 15 different apartments growing up, if not more. I mean, I don't know. Even if that person, has had a really good situation growing up. What if that's what they want? What if they just want a cute house, nothing crazy, super modest in the suburbs? Like, that's the thing too. Another thing with the job situation for people, I know this is turning to like a Gary Vee podcast here, but a lot of people, maybe do something that they maybe don't hate, but they like, and that's fine. Like, they're like, I want to do this because then like I look forward to like the weekends and stuff like that, and it gives me the financial freedom to be able to have these big vacations with my family and to be able to do this. Totally fine as well. I'm just the person that if I'm not enjoying what I'm doing, I hate it, and I'm not productive. I was the worst employee, and the reason why is because if I'm not fully invested into something, I suck. Like, I'm just not a good salesman. I'm a great salesman when I believe in the product, which is my content, or something like that. I'm a terrible salesman when it's electronic components or it's something I don't like. I was good at beer sales. I worked for a brewery. I was very good at that, but I was beer.
Same thing for me. I'm like, I have these ideas. Let's pitch this. This is how we can do that on the content side. But out of school, when I panicked and I didn't know what to do because I didn't have my job anymore because I graduated in COVID, when I was selling insurance, I'm like, I'm going to kill myself. Like, this is awful. Like, I hate this so much.
That's my first job too. That was my first job.
Oh, awful.
Yeah.
I mean,
Same.
gosh, the stories that I've piled up on that and just alone, I'm like, oh my God. But and I didn't even do that for that long. But perspective is everything, and everyone's wired different, and that's good because there are options out there for you to to have with what you want to do, whether it's really, really big and super ambitious or more kind of in the middle, and that's okay.
Exactly. And I think if you're in one of those situations, that's fine. I really feel bad and pray for the people that are in the situations that they hate everything.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
the
tough.
people that aren't like, they're struggling financially. And I've seen so many, I worked at like a country club as a valet for a long time.
Yeah.
And it's so funny, man, that not funny, but like just so crazy. The happiest people at the country club weren't the rich millionaires.
Yeah.
Weren't me, like, getting the cars and stuff like that, driving and having, I was having a good time. I was one of the happiest people.
Yeah.
It was the people, it was this guy that was from Mexico and another guy, I think he was out of the country, and he came in, that were dishwashers, and they were just so appreciative, and I think all the money they made, the one person sent back to his family in Mexico. Maybe he took some of it, but he was so appreciative of like the American, I don't know if that's the American dream, but just like being here in America and working. And he's just, I mean, piles and piles of dishes, man. Like, and they're not, they're probably making minimum wage, if not maybe a little more, but it was just, they were the happiest people. And that is another thing too, where I was like, the people outside, having the $50 steak, complaining about, oh, it's a medium rare and it's not medium or whatever. They're complaining about some stupid thing in life. Meanwhile, the person making $8 an hour washing their damn dishes is just appreciative of life. And it's just like, shit, just, I don't know. There are a lot of people I'm like, I feel bad for them. They have a trailer, or like they don't have the greatest financial situation, but sometimes those are like the happiest people, man. And they have like they just have their life in order. And it's so funny. It's how that works. I don't know.
Again, it goes back to options, that could be the American dream for that person, because they're like, I'm safe here. I'm taken care of. I like where I go to work, and I can make enough money for myself and to send back to my family. And if that's his dream, to make $10 an hour and have safety and security, like where you go into work, and money to send back to your family, and if that's the American dream, standing ovation from me, or if the standing ovation to you is to be content and make all this money so you can do this and that, awesome for you. Go for that. It all just depends. Everyone's different. Everyone's different.
We touched on it all. Deshaun Watson, OJ Simpson, living the dream. That's what we do on the Joe. Is this the 6th podcast I think I've been on?
It's at least 6 or 7. I mean, this has been a lot. You've been on a lot.
My most. Yeah, I the most I've ever been on. I think the second place is like maybe 2 or 3.
Yeah,
this is definitely by far the most. We're gonna keep doing that.
No, I love it. I think back. I was thinking back to the first one we ever did, and it was very kind of like, it was fun. It was very just kind of like an interview. It was a quicker one, and I love, it is each time like, we've still never met in person, but we kind of have had this nice little. Yeah, we'll make it work. Hopefully sometime this summer. I'll be back at the up around July 4th. I'll be up at the Sandbar there at Old Homestead, where I remember, I think we were texting or messaging, like, I don't know if you were just there or some of your buddies were just there and you were possibly coming over. You're like, oh, my buddies were just at the Sandbar. I'm like, I just left there. We're like, shit. Like, are you
talking about Huron?
Yeah, in Huron. Yeah.
Yeah, because we're going back. We do our fantasy football draft there every year in Huron. We get an Airbnb. So I literally just booked it 2-3 days ago. So I'll be back there. We'll do Labor Day weekend, but I'll be back there. I'm super pumped. But yeah, dude, I know it feels like we met just because we've done this so many times. And like, just that's kind of how it is. Like, I feel like that with my Twitter friends and people in real life that I have not met in real life.
Right.
Yeah, man. But when you're back, let me know. We definitely got to do something because that would be fun.
Yeah, we'll come up with something to do. And but yeah, man, I'm excited. Browns. How are you feel? Last thing I want to wrap up with, like, oh my God, I just can't. I'm someone who walks a lot. I really enjoy walking. I can't imagine on the skis, like, how painful, mind over matter. Just take me through like that whole thing, because I would hate that. That would make me hate walking, which is something I love.
So I guess for people that don't know the backstory, I do a lot of dumb shit, as we've kind of talked about. But my latest dumb project, I did the Cleveland Marathon in skis, the entire thing. Well, actually, I did 9 miles. They forced me to do the half marathon. I signed up for the marathon. I did 9 miles because I was going so slow in the skis. Like, my pace was like 25-minute miles and stuff. They put me in an escort car. And like, what's cool about last place, you're treated like royalty. I was having Hawaiian sweet rolls. I was having,
oh my God,
like Noon. It's not Gatorade, but it's like an energy, like an electrolyte drink. They were feeding me stuff and asking if I was okay. They gave me an escort car and they drove me up 4 miles so they could basically not block off one of the bridges so people go by, because they can't hold it all day. That's just, obviously. So, I did I felt like I was doing a cheat code. I went up 4 miles, but then I did 9 miles total of the marathon. And then I had to go on a bike path, kind of by Valley View, Independence, Ohio.
Yeah.
And I had to do the remaining 17.2 on that. And man, they were cross country skis, so they were not as heavy. I've never skied before in my entire life. I've never done a marathon.
Yeah.
And then I had ski boots on each one, that I had poles just for the aesthetic, and I could put a GoPro on. So on each of my feet, you have to think that probably 5 to 6 pounds on each feet.
Yep.
And each foot. And, the first mile, even the first 9 miles, I was fine. I was a little sore, but it was fine. And then I got to like mile 14 or 15, man, of just walking. I could barely, it went from 25-minute miles to around 35-minute miles.
Oh my gosh.
And I just couldn't walk. I would take breaks. I was in so much pain around mile 15. I was in incredible amount of pain, and my calves are still very, very sore. Like, looking back now, I'm like, that's something I'll never do.
No.
But I've always wanted to do these big projects and things I think 99.9% of people won't do. And like, have my videographer, who's, one of my best friends, and now like he's in on the projects, and I'm financially able to compensate him. So it's been nuts. And we got all these big products. Like I said, like I want to go in the Mansfield Reformatory where Shawshank Redemption was filmed and stay overnight because it's allegedly haunted. And just do kind of a bunch of stuff like that. Eventually, I want to skydive in 3 states in 24 hours. I haven't told people this yet. This will be a Joseph Vore Podcast.
Yes.
Exclusive.
Love it.
Is it Joe Vore or Joseph Vore? I'm blanking.
It was Joseph Vore, and it is now transformed into Joe Vore Podcast.
Yeah,
yes.
It's like Mitchell to Mitch, right? That's what
Yeah.
it is. We've done
Yeah.
that phase.
Right.
Okay. I want to kayak the Ohio River at some point this summer, maybe in
Okay.
August.
Yep.
And it's 981 miles, and it goes from Pittsburgh all the way down to like Southwest Illinois into like the Mississippi River, basically like Missouri, like Southeast Missouri, Southwest Illinois. So it would be like a 40-day project. I want to do that eventually, but like these bigger video things I want to do. So the marathon in skis was crazy. Because it was just something like, I don't know, man. I saw these comments. I read comments sometimes just to get engaged on how people are thinking about the project.
Yep.
And people like, this is impossible. Like, you're never going to do it. You're going to shin splints. Like, it's going to mess up your feet for the rest of your life, your body, like whatever.
Yeah.
And every time I read one of those comments, it felt like I was like, I'm going to do it. And now I'm like, I know I'm going to do it. I know I'm going to do it. Like, I don't know why. It was just weird seeing like people like, you can't do it. It's like Barney Stinson from How I Met Your Mother. It's like challenge accepted. Like that's kind of how I viewed it. So looking back now, I'm like, holy fuck, I'm an idiot. But it was just like, so there's something about like when I biked the state of Ohio, when I did the 13 cities in Cleveland in 10 days and then doing this marathon and skis, there's something about completing a task like that I thought was impossible or you know, very, very, very challenging. That is so rewarding. And it just makes you, I have an addiction to like do more and more of those things. Like whatever the YouTube projects do, if they get millions of views, they get 10 views. It is so fun filming those things and just being along. Like sometimes they're not fun. Okay. But like I said, completing that, and I do have fun along the way, but completing like a big task like that, like there's just, honestly, I don't think there's anything better. It's just so fun.
That's awesome, man. Well, I love it. I always appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Can't wait to see what you do next. We'll work something out. I got like 3 weeks home in Ohio, so we'll figure something out.
Please let me know. Yeah. One of my big goals is to just give you a reason to have me on a 7th time or an 8th time, wherever the thing may be. So I'm like, because usually it's around something big that happens and, you know, that's awesome. And then I think, all right, what do I got to do next to get back on the podcast? Because the guests are getting pretty good, man. I got to keep up. I mean, we're getting very, very good.
We've had some good stuff. I'm starting to have more of like my friends on too, because people just like those always just get better. Like they're like, oh God, like let's see what these guys are going to talk about, and that's just fun for me. It's a great excuse to, you know, basically catch up with people that I haven't talked with or connected with in a while. So we
talked about this last time, but who is there anybody else that has gone on as much as I have? Anybody you've interviewed?
No. I mean, the only guy close is my buddy AJ Nikolai, who just got a new job. He's now the receivers coach over at Ashland University. So that's awesome for him.
Nice.
But he's been on a bunch, and he was kind of my makeshift producer there for a while because he had connections and other friends of friends. So he would always help get people on, and then he would kind of come on as a third guest. I've had him on one-on-one plenty as well. So I'd have to count up all of his appearances because there for a while he was kind of my number 2, just because he would help get a guest, and then he would just kind of sit on and hang out and say a few things. But I think you may be, for one-on-ones, you're definitely ahead. And then for, I think, overall appearances, you're probably ahead, or it's pretty close.
I like that a lot. And I'm super appreciative. Like I always said, this is like my favorite thing to come on. It's just it's a very good time because it just feels like a conversation. It doesn't feel like an interview. Like I love doing the interviews and stuff, but I love more so having conversation with people that are in the same boat, kind of doing the same thing. Chasing their dreams and goals. And it's been cool, like I said, to see you kind of just continue to kill it. I didn't know. So it's funny because you post a lot of TikToks. I think like of like Daily Dropout stuff. I didn't realize you don't do it anymore. Do you not do it anymore, or you do?
No. So after,
is that all stuff that's in the vault? That you just
that's all. I mean, I did. I mean, you know, you think about it. So we did, you know, like now when you see people do the interviews, you know, they're on their phone. Like I've seen, you know, you're on your phone with the voice moments or whatever. Yeah. And people just go around and they'll get a few like just for TikTok. But for me, every time I was out, I'm filming for 3 or 4 hours for you know, for a 4, 5, 8, maybe a 10-minute YouTube video. So I'm getting 25, 30 clips plus. So, you know, I just have so much content of all the same, you know, because every time I'm editing, I go through, I'm like, okay, what's going to be good for, you know, a 10 to 13 second TikTok video. And I got a full 6-minute video that I'm pulling through on, you know, just for one topic. So, you know, and I did that from like October 2018. And the last time I did it was right before, you know, right as COVID was hitting when I was in Mexico, March 2020.
That story is terrifying when you were like trying to figure out how the hell you're going to get back.
Thankfully, everything was okay. But, you know, I show up in Cancun and there's a guy in a hazmat suit hitting me with the thermometer gun, asking me if I left, you know, being like, where did you stay? Where did you go? Not like in an intimidating way, but they were just kind of gathering information, rightfully so. And then, you know, you just kind of get on this plane and I get back to Phoenix. Thank God it was a straight through flight, direct flight. And you walk back in to go through customs, right? Because you know, coming back into the US, just dead and eerie and just so weird. It was just so weird. But yeah, all that stuff's in the vault. But now, as some time has gone by, you know, I'm just like, I can put a different twist on this. And a lot more people have come along and have done what I've done. Not that I wasn't the first person to do it or whatever, but, you know, was kind of in sort of early, like, you know, a lot of people weren't doing that, you know, starting in, you know, in 2018 there.
And you're in a great city that like,
because you can just go to Scottsdale. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And then how far is whatever Arizona State from you?
Well, I mean, Scottsdale, between like Old Town Scottsdale, where we'd film all the videos, and Arizona State campus, 12 minutes. I mean,
the whole that's crazy. That whole metropolitan area too. There's so, because it's like a party school, then like a party destination.
Right.
That's just like unlimited content too.
Right. Because you'd go to Scottsdale, and I don't know if you've been out here.
No, I need to.
So Old Town Scottsdale is literally, it's set up like a big block party. So the streets are blocked off. So you're not worried about, like, when you're in Old Town, you're not taking Ubers to the bar. You get dropped off in Old Town in this little like block party central area. And and everything is just right there. You're like, okay, I want to go to this one. It's right next door or right across the street. And there's like 15 different places that you can go. And so we would just kind of stand in a central location. We'd get all the foot traffic. And like you said, we have people there for bachelor parties, for bachelorette parties, bridal showers. They just want to come to Scottsdale because they live in Ohio and it's cold and we want to go and do this. We're on a golf trip. There's events that come out here. I mean, we have the Waste Management Open, which puts like almost 1 million people through the gates. And then we have students at Arizona State. We have the craziest party,
the number one party school in the country. Also.
Yeah. So the whole mix of it is just crazy. I mean, just it's really, I mean, people don't realize, you know, too, like Phoenix, I think, is either 4th or 5th for population in the country. We're like the 4th or 5th biggest city. And some people don't.
Yeah.
And you know, some people don't realize that. And but it's also funny. I think, you know, there's probably like 5 million people that live, you know, in and around, you know, Phoenix here. And I think our population is like 7 million. So you either live in Phoenix or you pretty much don't. You know, everyone lives in this area.
That's nuts, man. I need to get down there. I think it'd be fun. I thought the same thing about Nashville. I went to Nashville and it's fun, but I'm like, I understand why the people stay off, like the locals stay off of Broadway, because it just is too much tourists. It's fun, but it's just a lot. Like, you can't do it every weekend. But I feel like, that's absolute gold mine for content right there.
Well, come out anytime. We'll figure out something to do. Well, hey, the Super Bowl is going to be out here this year. That's where the Super Bowl is in Arizona. Shit. So depending on what the Browns do, and good, you know, the biggest thing is you'd have a place to crash, because I live out here. So I mean, hotels would be crazy. I have a car. We have a way to get around. So if you want to do you have anything, a parking,
do you have a driveway?
So we're in the process. We're going to be moving into an apartment.
Okay. The reason why I asked is because you could pay you could rent it out for parking.
People
in Los Angeles.
But yeah,
Okay,
because it'd
fine.
be inside a gate. But yeah, that would be smart.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we will.
Hey, what's your address and your social security
yeah.
number while we're at it?
Yeah. How
Yeah.
much money do you make before taxes?
Step Brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
I've seen that
interview
movie.
you.
I've seen that
There
movie.
you go. That's good.
Yeah.
You need to see that movie. But
Right.
but yeah, there's yeah, and think about how crazy this is. So the Waste Management Open, the final Sunday is Super Bowl Sunday every year. So next year in Phoenix will be the Waste Management Open, and then that Sunday, the Super Bowl.
Holy shit. My old company, they all went to the Waste Management Open, or it's the Phoenix Open or whatever you want to call it. And
Same, yeah.
I didn't know until this past year that it's a fucking party. And it's like
insane.
you think it's literally the movie Happy Gilmore. Like it's literally Happy Gilmore.
I can send you a video of my dad and I sitting in the bleachers at 16 hitting around a beach ball. Just like Happy Gilmore.
It's literally the movie, but I didn't know it was a thing, and it's a sanctioned PGA Tour event.
It's a huge event.
It's I think it's like the coolest event of the PGA season. I think it's cooler than the Masters.
It's so cool. I mean, they're different. I think each of them are really cool because they're like the complete opposites. The Master, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the hole 16, you can see it, and I'm sure you've seen it. It's this stadium, and it's, I think, at least 30,000 people. Maybe I'm crazy, but at least I think like 20,000 people. It might be closer to 30,000 people on just one golf hole. And they built like this coliseum around it. It's completely enclosed. Like you walk off the 15 green underneath the tunnel and you walk into a stadium. It's crazy. It's crazy.
I've seen video of it, and it's just the video and the pictures don't do it justice. It's something I feel like I have to just. That would be. Hey, I tell you what, maybe that's when I come in. I would like to come in sooner, but because I have a friend that's going to move in the area as well in the next couple months that I'm in music with. But I definitely want to. I think that'd be like the weekend,
especially with the Super Bowl and out at Old Town, they put extensions on all the bars because there are so many people. I mean, they are, it's like
imagine.
It's like, St. Vincent, St. Mary, it's like F playing at the high school gym. We got to move down to the University of Akron for capacity reasons. That's exactly like Old Town is huge, but they have to put extensions in these extra patio areas on all of the bars because there are just so many people. The week is just insane. You almost can't even move around. It's unbelievable.
I feel like I couldn't handle it after that week. Like I'd have to take a vacation from that vacation.
You would have to, as soon as you're done, Monday morning, you fly straight to Maui, and that's it. That's what you got to do.
Yeah. I talk to my therapist on the way there, basically just like debriefing and have a cigarette. I don't even smoke, but that just sounds like something I need to be at and will be at.
You need to see it from a fan perspective, from a content perspective. I mean, there's many. I mean, it's I interviewed out there, on Friday and Saturday night, I think 2 straight years, during the Open, and it's just wow, it's unbelievable. It's crazy.
I'll get there. It sounds like a lot of fun, especially for the Super Bowl and the Phoenix Open. I think
it's crazy.
I gotta do it.
You gotta do it. We're gonna do it, man. I love it. Awesome. Well, hey, man. Again, I know we said goodbye here for 45 minutes, but thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yes, the Midwest goodbye. Out here, I've become a real Westerner. I'm now a master of the Irish goodbye. Everything.
I was just gonna ask, have you ever done an Irish goodbye? I feel like
every time.
Have to. Yeah.
Every time. It's the best.
I feel like the biggest dick if I did that, man. But I kind of want to do it once just to see what happens.
Yeah. Oh, it's great. It's great. Just Uber's there. You're just gone. Boom. Gone.
All right. How about this? How about I do my first Irish goodbye right now?
Perfect. Do it.
No, I don't really want to do it.
Oh, he did it. He did it. That was well done. Well done, sir. Yeah. Thanks again so much for coming on. Thank you so much for listening and watching. Thank you to our sponsor, Step One. We'll talk to you guys next time.